Tonight on Denver7 News at 10, former President Trump accused of stirring up a violent mob that stormed the U.S. Capitol.
And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
There's a million of us out there, and we are listening to Trump. You're the boss.
Senators now weighing whether the president's actions are worthy of a conviction.
What our country experienced that day is the framers' worst nightmare come to life.
We can't possibly be suggesting that we punish people for political speech in this country.
Tonight, we're taking a 360 look at the impassioned arguments in the historic second impeachment trial of Donald Trump.
Plus, thousands more COVID vaccine doses coming to Colorado each week. A fresh focus on getting shots right into the neighborhoods where they're needed most.
And unknown no more.
The only thing you own your entire life is your name. And to have that taken away when you die, that's not fair.
The DNA breakthrough giving a Colorado family closure nearly 4 decades after Wendy Stevens disappeared. Well, welcome to Denver7 News at 10. I'm Shannon Ogden.
Good evening. I'm Ann Trujillo, and thank you for joining us.
Well, former President Trump's second impeachment trial heading into day 2 now after clearing its first hurdle. Today, senators voted that the trial is constitutional and can proceed.
Tonight, we are taking a 360 look at day 1 of the trial, hearing voices on both sides of the debate.
The Democratic impeachment managers laid out an emotional case today, reminding senators of what happened in that very same building less than 5 weeks ago. They show clips of Trump addressing the crowd, telling them to fight like hell before that violent mob stormed the Capitol. Colorado Congressman and impeachment manager Joe Neguse said just because Donald Trump is no longer president does not mean he is off the hook for his actions.
Presidents can't inflame insurrection in their final weeks and then walk away like nothing happened.
The former president's lawyers say his words on that day were political speech and claim because he's no longer the president, the Senate has no business holding a trial now.
The Senate lacks jurisdiction to conduct this trial of a former president, a president no longer in office and now a private citizen.
Trump's defense team called the trial an act of political theater, saying the president did not direct anyone to commit lawless actions.
And in the end today, 6 Republicans joined Democrats. The vote, 56-44, that the impeachment trial is constitutional and can move ahead. So Democrats will spend the next 2 days making their case to convict the former president. Trump's defense team will take the floor after that.
Full impeachment coverage starts at 10 a.m. tomorrow right here on Denver7. And if you're looking for local news, weather, and sports, you can always switch over to Local 3, or you can search for us on your Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, or Android device.
Well, tonight, a welcome boost in the fight against the coronavirus. The Biden administration says it will raise vaccine supply by about 500,000 shots each week. And for Colorado, that's going to mean an extra 9,000 doses weekly.
For Colorado, the challenge, of course, now becomes how do we get those extra doses to the people who need them most? As
Denver7's CB Cotton reports, many healthcare providers are now turning their focus to community events, trying to make it as easy as possible for Coloradans who want the shot to get it.
Each car that rolls up gets closer to their vaccine dose.
And it looks like we're going to be doing this in the left arm.
And closer to a better future. National Jewish Health has held at least 3 drive-through vaccination events. The most recent held at St. Cahatan Catholic Church, where Linda Sosa was vaccinated.
So happy that have the opportunity to get it.
On Tuesday, Governor Jared Polis sharing his excitement for others to get the vaccine too, thanks to a supply increase.
They are increasing our vaccine supply in Colorado by 9,000 a week.
An additional 27,000 extra doses over the next 3 weeks. And National Jewish Health is already thinking about how they'll prepare.
The thinking around how to do it with more vaccine, how to do it off our campus, how to do it in bad weather. All of that planning is really nonstop.
Dr. Jay Finnegan of National Jewish Health says at this point, they've only been distributing the Pfizer vaccine, but they'll gladly take whatever they can get. One of the biggest challenges so far?
How to move thousands of people through the campus or any given location in a relatively short period of time.
National Jewish Health says each week they've received at least 1,000 doses. They haven't found out how much additional supply they'll have after the state gets its extra stock, but they feel ready.
We've now have some experience getting out into the community to do it, to try to get into populations, so not everybody necessarily has to come here to National Jewish.
All right, your turn.
Each car that rolls up
Thank you.
gets us closer to a better future.
To switch over from talking about the number of people we're taking care of in the ICU on a ventilator to the number of people we're getting vaccinated is a really encouraging shift for us to go through.
CB Cotton, Denver7.
Another part of President Biden's vaccine rollout plan is to use pharmacies across our nation to administer the shots. Come Friday, select Walmart and Sam's Club locations in Colorado will start giving shots to eligible people. You can book your spot on their websites as soon as doses are available, and you will get an appointment confirmation. Pharmacy chains, CVS and Walgreens, they're starting to roll out shots in other states, but they have not yet said if or when they plan to offer vaccines here in Colorado.
And as some states look to speed up the vaccine rollout, they're authorizing dentists to give COVID shots. Now, Colorado dentists can already administer the shot after Governor Polis signed an executive order last month. It allows dentists to give shots in a hospital or medical facility. We reached out to the Colorado Dental Association to find out if any dentists in our state are actually involved in efforts at this time, and we have not yet heard back.
In 1983, 14-year-old Wendy Stevens simply disappeared. Well, last month, 3.5 decades later, her family finally found out what happened.
Wendy was the victim of a serial killer from Washington State. DNA technology helped investigators finally identify her remains.
And tonight, Denver7's Megan Lopez and photojournalist Andrew Bray show us how.
So remote that it took the team almost 6 hours.
Every year, 50,000 people disappear.
I see my dog on the other side of center field carrying something.
25,000 of them never resurface.
He walked up to me and set a bone down.
When we look at 1983, when this girl disappeared, it was easier to disappear then than now.
We figured it was a hip bone off of a person.
We averaged anywhere from 83 to 108 homicides a year.
Just 3 days later, 3 more victims.
There are a lot of people that turn up missing and they're never found.
26 women are dead, another 15 missing.
The Green River slayings is a classic example.
The Green River murders, a series of terrible crimes.
I'm Dave Reichert. I was the lead investigator. I began the case in 1982.
This Sunday, it will be 2 years since the first victim was discovered.
July of 1982, Wendy Caulfield was found.
I'm scared. I really am. I'm almost afraid to open up my doors.
August 12th of 1982, Debbie Bonner was found.
At this point, police don't know the sex, race, or age of the deceased.
Then on August 15th, 2 more bodies were found.
While the search for the killer continues, the number of murdered and missing women grows.
I found a 3rd body on the riverbank that day.
He'd been searching, like I said, for about an hour. We brought him down through the gully up to this other body.
I'm doing this so that guy can get nailed.
They have literally thousands of leads to follow.
We knew we had a serial killer.
The skeletons were found in a likely area.
One question remains: how much longer?
The first body was found lying in a wooded area just southwest of this baseball field. The caretaker's dog...
I was at that site where Wendy's body was found. She was in a very swampy, muddy area.
And my son looked at me and says, "Dad."
She was found by someone who lived nearby. The sad part is, during that investigation, you had so many unidentified remains that you had to put numbers to the bodies. It's the only way we could keep track.
Ridgway confessed to strangling dozens of women and dumping their bodies in forested and rural areas around King County.
We announced the arrest of Gary Ridgway in 2001.
He's serving 49 life sentences for 49 murdered women.
The sheriff's office obviously had done everything in their toolbox to try to get these young ladies ID'd.
2 boys find the body of...
They had these bones identified as bones 10 for a long time.
We had no DNA back then.
We were hopeful that DNA would solve these cases. Ultimately it did, but we needed another tool.
A teenager found dead in Seattle in 1984 has been identified as 14-year-old Wendy Stevens of Denver.
Project is a nonprofit organization. We restore the names of John Does and Jane Does. We work on their genealogy using DNA testing.
Forensic genealogy is taking a profile from the bone. They're using public websites where people have uploaded their DNA for ancestry.
What we were able to see for Wendy was a mix of third and fourth cousins.
I found a cluster of matches on the maternal side, a cluster of matches on the paternal side. They had 2 descendants who married each other, and those turned out to be Wendy's parents.
This forensic genealogy was the key.
A set of bones still not identified.
People didn't believe we were ever going to solve this case.
It was an amazing moment. I mean, I've been trying for almost 25 years.
We're here to give Wendy her name back, to restore her power.
And for that moment that I stopped referring to her as Bones 10 and got to refer to her as Wendy, that was a big moment for me.
So we're looking for bone fragments and we're looking for charcoal.
We have Bones 17 and Bones 20. We're very much hoping that the new tools in the toolbox will eventually lead to those identifications.
There's never closure. About the most you can expect, the parents can expect, there's some answers.
Another still unidentified victim is discovered.
The only thing you own your entire life is your name. And to have that taken away when you die, that's not fair. And we know that our job is to restore that name and restore who that person was and let them go home to their family.
Coming up, boosting confidence in the COVID vaccine while busting out some viral dance moves.
Of course, people have questions and are hesitant. And I think that's why it's really important for scientists to be on the other side of that, answering those questions.
We're getting to know the TikTok doc, sharing vital vaccine facts through fun videos, and they're racking up millions of views.
It was a chilly one today, but just wait till you see how cold it'll be by the weekend.